Welcome, Aries. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, and I've pulled for you the Ace of Pentacles for this new moon in Aries, moon on the 29th of this month. This is feeling as a result of my meditation as a highlight for the new you. Certainly, this highlights the new astrological year, which begins with your sign, Aries. And this is also about new beginnings. And I feel that you are in between worlds in an interesting way at this time that kind of represents the processing of all of your knowledge, self-knowledge, and experience into this distillation of wisdom that you are processing, that you are continuing to undergo, but that you intuitively understand is leading to the regeneration that is producing this new version, this new experience of the world, and you're adjusting. I'm going to try to move through this reading without over emphasizing too much of the collective message and try to distill it to what's relevant for you. But this is absolutely impacting your perspective, your mindset, your approach, and your willingness to focus on what it is that you want. This is a general reading, Aries, so it isn't going to resonate for all of you. If you're interested in a personal reading, information for that is in the description box below. And I hope this microphone is working. Yes, it is. So let's look at your present energy. And I first pulled the Crystal Oracle, which shows us the snowy flake obsidian. And this is describing your root chakra. So this is your real grounding, your foundation, your roots. This is immediately calling up past lives for you, ancestral wisdom that you hold, that you are seeking to activate at this time. You're seeking to integrate this into this new experience of life and something you are beginning. And the key word is safety. In the hurricane of life, a strong foundation will keep you safe. I think this is pretty clear, and it is about the ability to regenerate yourself is based on the work that you've already done, the ancestral lineage that has placed you where you are now in the world and has given you a sense of this deeper, longer connection through many lifetimes. And certainly the idea that the phoenix is an image that I keep getting. And so that is about you not simply rising up and transforming, but really walking through the fire, experiencing the death of what no longer serves you as a fiery, flaming combustion, a kind of implosion that is helping you to now walk through the ashes, to literally understand how the death and what deaths occurred to you, what you're surrendering, what you're letting go of, and how you are instead allowing the energy to unfold within you. So the safety card is clarified by the Knight of Swords, and this is indicating to me that you are exploring unfamiliar paths. And why this is at this point a point of strength for you is that you have gained the courage and the clarity, the strength to test out what you don't know, test those avenues of expression, those places, those communities where you realize you are unfamiliar. And this is important because this is part of allowing your natural gifts to flow and unfold. This is not about pushing. This is about pacing yourself in a way that feels more neutral to you, so that you are less the fiery pioneer that Aries can be, and more of the listener, watcher, learner, note taker, clear about what you don't know and what you would like to understand. Not because it's relevant to your life or new beginning, but that you realize that it is something that you have the capacity to gain in knowledge and wisdom about. It may be areas that are uncomfortable for you. So this is about being in the discomfort, knowing that there's a point to it, that there's an end goal, and that end goal is an area of facility, of connection that you had previously unexplored or been afraid to explore. So the Knight of Swords is you being the diligent student in many ways, exploring unfamiliar ideas, new ideas, being open to at least listen. In the past, I pulled the Talisman Oracle and I pulled the card Wisdom. And I'm going to read a little bit about what this card is described as, but you will notice immediately the octopus. And the octopus looks like upside down. She's upside down. And then there is a kind of third eye there, sort of supporting the whole thing, which is really, for me, reinforcing the idea that you are channeling ancestral wisdom, that your spiritual awareness, your ability to truly see, is being awakened by going in down, not by rising up in the flames, but by going down, going to the bottom of the ocean where the octopus quite often lives, into deeper recesses that are invisible, unknown, mysterious to all of us, and that there is a deeper vein there that you have the ability to plumb. And this card reads, "The power of the mind has no limits." Wisdom is not about having all the information and knowledge, but about applying what we know to our situation so that it adds meaning and promotes the common good. The card reminds you that it's time to live life in such a way that builds the spirit. The octopus on this card is upside down, and it invites you to look for alternative perspectives to broaden your vision. Sometimes all it takes is distance so that we can see more clearly what's best for us. Your third eye is awakened and focused on the scene, so don't be afraid to look for a new point of view. Use this card when looking for a new perspective or solution, or when it's hard to come to terms with the outcome of a situation. I use the wisdom within. And this comes across to me as, again, a processing a card, a kind of between worlds card, between the world you know and you've conformed to, the outer world and the world within, the world that is less familiar, that requires strength, courage, the ability to swim against the tide and do what others may not express interest or desire in, but it's relevant to what it is you seek to express, to build, or to create. And this card was clarified by the sun. It's interesting that Mars will be opposing Pluto throughout the Aries season. And this is important, an important clue for those of you that can recall November of last year, which could give you a clue as to your destiny. And that was the moment, more or less, that Pluto went into Aquarius for good, and signaling kind of globally this whole shift in perspective from established order, the established world order, to a new world of innovation and hyper communication, hyper awareness, hyper clarity that is mediated. And so that's a little bit of the trick there. This is reminding you of why you came here and how your purpose is becoming clear when you remember that the sun represents in our birth chart what we came here to do, what we came here to understand, who we came here to be, the path we chose to walk down in this lifetime. So that the sun represents our whole destiny in terms of our holistic experience as individuals. So this is far from happiness as a superficial, playful thing, and is more about the happiness in being whole, in being complete, in being on your path, no matter how that path is evolving, is turning out. The joy of having found your lane, your zone, your mission is critical, and it's something that you have been consciously working on and clarifying for yourself for a while. In the future, I pulled for you from the Wild Elemental deck the Koi card, and I will read a little bit about the Koi. It's naturally connected with the element water, which is important, as are emotions, the collective unconscious that I believe you have risked on your journey to self-fulfillment. So some of the attributes of the Koi are prosperity, beauty, harmony, peace, and balance between the mind and emotions. When you see Koi swimming into your life, expect abundance, not only of money, but also of resources, luck, love, friendship, opportunities, and creativity. This is the time to take advantage of all that you are being offered and have access to. This is an ideal time to work on a transformation you have been dreaming about. And although I feel as though the primary energy of this new moon is around transformation and their fires, this feels like it's about, for you, the water of transformation at this time. And so that does bring to mind for me the phoenix. And to clarify the Koi in your future, I pull the Wheel of Fortune. And this is important because the Wheel of Fortune is putting me to mind of the idea of regeneration and the phoenix, which is an image that has been churning over for me, showing up for me for this particular time. It's one that I would think that Aries are naturally very attuned to, but it is less about rising up from the ashes. I'm not getting that. What I'm getting is more of a kind of neutrality in this allowing things to unnaturally unfold, to establish a natural flow, and to trust in that, to trust yourself in that place, a place that you've earned, you've created for yourself, you've manifested this new beginning. And you're sort of moving out of the familiar timeline. So time is starting to collapse and shrink and stretch out in ways that are unpredictable, but there's less of a burning desire to get going. This is bringing to mind some of the attributes of the phoenix mythologically, and one of them is immortality, which, of course, the mythological creature, the phoenix, was said to be immortal, but it had a finite lifespan, depending on your source, a different lifespan, but it was up to millennia. But what this reinforces to me is reincarnation, other lives you've experienced, if not your own experience of being reborn, than that of your ancestors. And that is about the way that you are handling the energy of regeneration, how you're not staying stagnant, how you are birthing, dying, and rebirthing as a process that fuels you. This is also about cleansing, healing, clearing the old deck, simplifying your life, focusing on what it is you want again, so that you are actually literally using hellfire, holy fire, to burn away the impurities in your life, in your soul. And this emphasizes again, I know I keep saying it, but the sense of being between worlds in a way that you can be productive, that you're really gaining immeasurable experiences, wordless experiences, through this regenerative process that you're experiencing. It's interesting, when I pulled a deck that I wanted to use to clarify, I pulled a Celtic deck. I can't remember the name of it, but it is about dawn and dusk, which has a particular name in Celtic or Irish mythology around the thinness of the veil between worlds. This also taps into the raven or the crow, which is understood to be a creature who exists in that a fine space between worlds, that has access to death, but comes back into the land of the living by carrion crows, scavengers that don't kill things but live off dead flesh. It's kind of a gruesome metaphor, but it's important because I think that it is this energy of the crow that is, and of this mythological time that was honored by the Celts as the thinness of the veil, the ease with which we can move back and forth between worlds. I also want to note that the Druids, the priestly caste of the Celts, it was an oral tradition. It was not a written tradition. And this is about the relationship to words, how you're describing this, how you're trying to document this or record this experience may be difficult, because actually many Druids were forbidden from writing down the oral stories. And it wasn't until much later, in the middle of the Middle Ages, that the Christians, or the Christian church as it was called, sought to record the stories, giving them a Christian bias, which has been largely debunked now. I felt the need to say all that, as I am wanting to clarify the Wheel of Fortune in your future with the Tower. And I think I'm talking about the somewhat incongruities or the layers of experience that you may have the opportunity to access at this time. There's so much information about the strength of the phoenix who is burning down, you who are burning down the status quo, the things, the behaviors, the attitudes, the relationships that don't serve you, but also the way in which you are moving to a new world, moving into a new world and facilitating that for others. So you're bringing wisdom so that others can understand that there are new possibilities available to us, quite possibly as a result and as a direct result, not possibly, of the destruction of the world that we're living in. And understanding that in whatever way is relevant to you, but that this cannot be described. This can only be experienced. And of course, the Tower, in its most positive aspect, which I believe it represents Pluto and Aquarius here, is all about the new possibilities and how you're stepping into that in a way that has global relevance to others. There's not a name for this. There's not a way in each opportunity or community or relationship that you enter that is a product of this experience of the Tower that is the same in every situation. It's you're living your life from the inside out. And I'm going to actually finish this off with another oracle card because I just can't seem to stop myself. And I have pulled gratitude. Gratitude comes up and it reads, I'm thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. I'm going to leave it there. If you've enjoyed this content, check this out. And until next time, Aries, namaste.